Hey, what's up humans? Welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I would appreciate if you would subscribe. Today we're going to be working on this awesome pinfire Ethiopian opal. And when we shine a flashlight through, you guys can see it's super clean. There's just that little bit of dirt on that one side and everything else is great. When we measure it, it is 14, and then this side is 10 or 11, and then it goes 8 millimeters, and then 13 millimeters. And when we weigh it out, the weight of it is 6.72 carats. So if you guys want to see how this Ethiopian opal gets shaped and polished and turned into a gem, keep on watching. Alright, so working on a bit of a game plan here. There is that dirt on the side, but I wanted to kind of mark up what I think I'll be able to get out of it. I'll definitely be able to get some sort of a cabochon out of this area here, and I think the highest dome that I'll be able to get on this would look something like that, and then I'll mark it here as well. So this is pretty much what we're looking at, and then I'll mark the bottom as well. It's pretty clean. I'll definitely be able to get something out of that area. So, going on to my 800 grit diamond bit here, I'm starting by working on the surrounding edges of the stone. Since all of the dirt in this particular stone lives around the sides, I'm just going to carve down the sides and then work on the face. So since most of the dirt is on just the one side, I'm gonna kind of grind down where all the dirt is while kind of rounding out the top and the bottom to kind of shape it, and then I'll go on the other side of the stone and kind of work down that bumpier part. Now, this is a super tall stone, so I'm definitely going to be able to get a really high dome out of this one. So that's cool. And, yeah, smooth sailing as far as this part went. Just needed to grind down that dirt, and then it was just up to me to decide how I wanted to shape it. Now, I could have just ground out that dirt and then polished it from there and had like a nice chunky piece. But I did want to take advantage of that flat back and, you know, make a dome out of it, because why the heck not? I really like making ovals, you know. I do like the look of irregular shapes in opal as well, but I do find that I just gravitate towards making, you know, more circular cuts. I've done some cushion cuts in the past, and I like teardrops as well, but I am partial towards ovals. Can't help it. So with Ethiopian opal, you can cut it dry, especially if you're gonna do that outside or something, or you have like some opening windows. I don't have any opening windows. I could open my door and dry cut, but I really do prefer the wet method because I find it so interesting to see the difference between the stones, how some of them absorb the water and turn crystal clear like glass, and you don't see any of the flash in it, and it's wild. And sometimes the stone will absorb the water and go clear, but it'll retain all of its flash so you can see where the pattern needs to be. And that's also really cool. It's just such a variety. A lot of stones that I end up shaping end up having some color, but not as bright as it was originally when it was dry. And this piece is pinfire, which pinfire pretty much takes to whatever shape you really want to give it. It always looks good because the flashes come in speckles from around, you know, all the angles and whatnot. So moving on to my Nova points, I did do some shaping on the Nova points today, trying to get it nice and round, and this particular stone was a little bit difficult for me to grip onto, but you know, if you're using dopping sticks like a normal person, it should be pretty easy for you to not drop it as much. I also cut my nails really short really recently because they were like flaking up, so that's another reason why I was having a harder time today getting a good shape than I normally would. But yeah, the black and the brown Nova points do so much for the shaping, and if your shape in the 800 grit diamond bit isn't to your liking, it's very forgiving to shape it kind of the rest of the way on the Nova points, while it is harder to hold on to them because the Nova points are, you know, kind of polishing them a little bit, but it gives you a more even shape when you kind of just give it a rough, chunky, lumpy shape with the coarser grit, and then fine-tune the shape of it with the Nova points. But once you're down to the pink Nova point here, you're just polishing it. And so definitely with all the Nova points, make sure to check for scratches. Always make sure to check for scratches. Very important. It's really sad when you go through all the work of shaping and polishing, and then you look at it and you're like, oh, there's scratches there. Crap. So, you know, just keep an eye on it. I've been there, done that, and you know, I see people showing off opals on Instagram that are a little scratched up, mostly Indonesian opal that I see that, and there's nothing wrong with that, you know? It's good to show it off. So this is the stone when it was wet, and as you can see, this is one of those ones that was like glass. No color really left in it, a little bit of green. And then this is it when it was mostly dry. As you can see, it's egging. So I got a little impatient, and it was Saturday at the point that I started polishing it, and I was like, you know what? I need to get this done, or I'm not going to get a video out this week. So I let it dry out for 2 days, and then I was like, nope, I'm polishing it. And so here I'm using my felt tips and my diamond lapidary polishing pastes, and I'm just doing kind of the same movements that I did before. Normally, I would hold the stone with the sharp bottom underneath my thumbnail, but since I don't really have an index nail or a thumbnail at the moment, it was just kind of holding on to it as best as I could, trying to get it polished as best as I could. Now, if I had a couple fingernails there, makes it way easier. Trust me, being able to tuck a piece of the stone under your fingernail makes a huge difference as far as control of the stone goes. But they needed to go. They needed to go. My nails were so flaky, I had to cut them short. So you can still carve opal with nubby nails. Something to keep in mind. You know, if you have that sort of hand-eye coordination, it can be pretty rewarding, you know? It's like, I feel like shaping opal is pretty rewarding no matter what, but I do get a kick out of shaping and polishing them entirely by hand, and it also, you know, makes it so I don't have to deal with any complications, because I'm not quite familiar with dopping in any way, and I could try it more, but I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable with my method right now. So this is the stone when it's finished, and I dried it out a little bit more, and yeah, pretty happy with it. When we measure it, it is now 9 that direction. and then 8mm, and looks like 7mm. So I could think of a few settings that I could put this in, you know, 9x5. The weight is 2.43 carats. So this is the stone before we shaped it. It was a really nice rough piece. I mean, look at that. Good clean faces, really nice rough piece. And then this is the piece after it was shaped and polished. We did end up losing 4.29 carats, which, you know, is more than half, but still pretty happy with the size of it. Great flashy pinfire, but do you guys see that little fracture there?
Bruh.
Jeez. I'm just kidding though, I'm not actually that upset about it. That looks pretty surface level, but, you know, not ideal. Still very happy with this stone. Great color, great pinfire pattern, and this is every time I dropped it. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like it if you liked it. Share this with a friend if you have a friend to share it with. I'd love that. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. It really would help my channel. Leave a comment, turn on notifications, and I'll see you guys next time I feel like posting. Later.